So let's have a look at this site, potentketo.com. And if you were to look through this, you would find that it has 51 posts. And normally that would take me about 100 hours of writing and anywhere up to about 60 days if I was really going for it. But this site didn't exist 24 hours ago. And I literally created all of that content with one click. So I created all of that content with a tool called Wordplay.ai. And I discovered this in my quest to try and replace another tool that I'm using, which is Jasper.ai. And that's what we're going to talk about in this video. Now, if you don't have time to watch the whole video and you just want to know, is it worth the money? Then this is my opinion. Sort of. If that didn't answer your question, then do stick around because I'm going to talk about exactly how to use the tool and how I would use it in order to grow my business. And straight off the bat, the main difference between something like Jasper or any other AI tool that you might be using is that you don't have a lot of control over what is created other than just inputting the title and some subheadings. So when you get into your account, you're given different options to create your content. So you can use what's called the outline mode, the title mode, the topic mode, or the bulk CSV mode. And this is what I use to create 51 articles in one click. So the outline mode, basically you put in your title and you can put from 3 to 12 descriptive subheadings. And I think it's really important to put the descriptive subheadings because otherwise the AI doesn't know what you want. So for example, if you're talking about an accountant, you would say how to become an accountant rather than how do you become one. That's really what they mean by descriptive. After you put in all your subheadings here, you get an estimated word count and then you can submit the job. But I don't have any credits left for this month. In the title mode, what you can do is just put in several different titles and you'll create different articles based on that. And you're just letting the AI sort of decide what to write for you. And the topic mode is very similar to the title mode, but obviously you're just putting in topics rather than title. To be honest, I didn't really test all of those out too much. What I did do is test out the bulk CSV mode. So in this mode, what you do is you upload a file with subheadings and you can have as many as you want. I think maybe up to 12, something like that. And it just kicks out all those articles literally in minutes. Oh, struggling with only 4 hours sleep today. If we come to my projects in the account here, you can see I've done a couple of individual articles, testing out a few things, but mainly what I did was 49 articles in one project, which was the CSV file. And basically what I was trying to do is to use up all my credits because it's going to run out in a couple of days. And I'm not sure yet if I want to renew this particular subscription. And you can preview them, copy them quickly like that, or you can edit them. I think we should just address the elephant in the room. This is AI generated content. It's not perfect. It's never going to be perfect. And you really just need to edit anything that comes through this and to fact check. And I think that's true of any of the AI content creation tools on the market. So one of the big questions always about AI content is it plagiarized? And if we put this through a basic plagiarism checker, it's giving me 93% unique. And if we look through, I think it's really just coming up with, the affiliate thing. So I've put all of this up on potentketo.com so you guys can go check it out and you can read through it. I haven't really edited anything yet. What I did notice as I was uploading all these articles was that sometimes you have subheadings where it doesn't really write anything for them, or it's just completely missed the mark with the content. Either it's completely not true, and you can see this where in this particular article it's talking about pets when it's keto. I don't think pets do keto, they can do maybe, but I don't think they do. And sometimes just the facts are wrong. So for example, we don't have 3 liters of urine in our bladders, we only have something like 300 milliliters. That's kind of normal for AI generated content. You're just going to have to go catch that kind of thing. So one of the really attractive features of this, and it's something I didn't remember straight away, was that you can actually have this WordPress plugin which will literally just upload all of your articles for you into WordPress. I did about 25 manually and then I remembered, oh, there was a plugin, and it did it in seconds. So one of the things I did notice is it uploads it as the classical editor. So you probably want to go through and just convert it to blocks because I've just got used to using Gutenberg now, but that was much simpler than doing it manually. So just in terms of the actual quality. Now, I don't know much about ketosis or anything like that. So when I'm reading through this, the actual prose, the tone of voice seems pretty good. If you compare that to something like you might get on iWriter, I've used iWriter quite a lot recently because I don't have a massive budget for outsourcing, and a lot of the stuff you get back is just terrible. You have to heavily edit it. This is actually producing better sentences than I get from iWriter. But as I said, the facts mostly are wrong. So reading through this, it mentioned a few things. So this is an article about why am I peeing so much on keto? It spoke about salty foods making you urinate a bit more. Apparently that's true. And then it spoke about how much urine you have in your bladder, and it got that completely wrong. So it's sort of, hit and miss with the facts, but the actual flow I think is pretty good. But I also did notice that sometimes it just goes completely off mark. It started talking about the benefits of outsourcing SEO in a keto article, and it did it twice. I don't know why. So the process that I used to produce 51 posts for this site in less than 24 hours, I think is pretty similar to what most people are doing. I just used Ahrefs to get my low competition keywords, and then I went through and I used Jasper, in fact, to produce all of the subheadings. That was much easier than doing it myself. I just put all of those into the CSV file and uploaded it into Wordplay, and it just produced all that literally in seconds. So my plans for potentketo.com is I'm going to leave it up as it is for a little while so people can read through the content as it's produced directly from Wordplay. Then I'm going to start working through and just correcting it, getting the facts, adding a little bit to it. The only thing I've done is to add some images just so it kind of looked a little bit nicer. But it's pretty much as is from Wordplay.ai. But in reality, I don't have high hopes of this. It's really just to show what can be done with this tool. This is not the way that I would personally build a site for myself, and it's not the way that I think most of us should do it. I'd much prefer to follow the course that I do follow, Project 24, and if you watch this channel at all, I talk about that a lot. But basically, I just wanted to use up my credits because I've had this for 2 months and I didn't use anything the first month. So how much is this going to cost you? Well, all the tiers in Wordplay have exactly the same features. You're basically just paying for how many words you want to generate a month. So you've got from 39 all the way up to 3,000 a month, where you get 3 million words. So if you've used any other tool, you know that sometimes these AI content generators, they mess up. It does have a feature where you have failed articles, and if they don't generate anything, it doesn't count towards your monthly quota of words. So I think if you compare the prices here to something like iWriter, I've used the elite level for iWriter, and this is going to be cheaper, and you're going to get the same quality of research and writing, even though this is basically scraping from the net. But there is another offer, and I don't know how long it's going to be around. It's the lifetime offer, and if you look here, basically for $1,000 you can get 100,000 words every single month. I think that's a pretty good deal because I've already paid $100 for 100,000, so when you work it out, this is probably a good deal. So in reality, how could you use Wordplay to help your business? Because you definitely shouldn't be doing what I did, which is basically just taking the content directly and putting it onto the website. I think that if you use this in combination with a fact checker or an editor, you could actually produce some pretty good content. And I think if you look in the right place, you can get a fact checker or an editor for a reasonable price. So a couple of ways that you could use this, maybe to have press releases, you could have guest posts, you could use this to answer questions from Quora, you could possibly use this to create content just for a mailing list that isn't actually indexed online. I think there's lots and lots of possibilities if you take the time to correct the information that it gives you and not just put it up on the internet like I did for this test. So by putting all this content onto this website, potentketo.com, I'm actually doing quite a few tests all in one. The first test is obviously, is Wordplay any good? The other thing I wanted to check out is what happens if you put totally unedited content from an AI generator onto a website. Does it get hit? Is it going to get picked up by Google and flagged for some reason? The other thing I'm testing is what happens if you drop 50 articles in a day? Does that also make it get flagged? But wait, there's more. I'm also testing this theory I had, which is, can you age a domain and then flip it for more money later. So basically, one of the things I've been doing is buying a lot of domains and trying to sell them. But I haven't gone down the avenue of trying to buy like domains with backlinks and that sort of thing, or traffic. What I'm trying to do is the other avenue, kind of like brandable domains. So they don't actually have much value apart from the domain itself. And I've got loads and loads of domains in the keto space. It was a drunken night. I probably shouldn't have bought so many. So that's what I'm testing. If I leave this up for a year, is potentketo.com going to be worth more money than it is now? I don't know. So is Wordplay actually worth the money? Well, I think when I compare it to something like Jasper, which gives you a lot of control over what you're creating, it's not as good. When you compare how much time it takes to create a good article in Jasper compared to a one click, it kind of is worth it. So there you have it. That's how you can produce a lot of content very quickly. Now, I'd love to hear your opinions on Wordplay if you've used it, and any of your questions if you're thinking about getting it yourself. And if you want to test out Wordplay for yourself, then please use the link in the description and spread the love.